so I'm clicking on go live on YouTube, and also the audio is perfectly in sync, which is amazing. Finally, this issue is of a past.
Nice. That's good.
Nice.
Incredible.
And we are on YouTube, and I will just do a quick post on LinkedIn. So yep, that's done. Cool. So this is the first stream, guys, of this year. How do you feel?
Awesome.
Really good. It's been a few weeks without streaming.
It's been a hard year, and this one's going to be
Even harder. Even more bugs to fix, even more features to ship.
It's like every year. It seems that every year is harder than the year before for some reason. At least for us, like there was no.
Actually,
year that was
I don't
easier.
think so. I think it was harder like 2 years ago or so.
Real, like, but in what terms?
Yeah, it depends. Like, but if you combine everything, I think like we should be enjoying this.
Yeah, like definitely. But I believe there are like some major challenges ahead of us this year. But it's true that some of the years were more stressful.
Each year is more challenging than the one before.
Yeah, and we had more stressful years before.
Yeah. Because sometimes it's not too much challenging; it's just stressful.
Yeah, exactly.
But now it's not the case.
Okay. So let's start, as always, with the product update. And I think the biggest update from the last stream we did like 3 or 4 years ago is that we... Give me a second. We'll do now. Okay, so actually we will be joined. We have a special guest today who's coming to say hi. And hopefully he will come soon. So yeah, this is the biggest news from the last stream is that we released Welder Studio, and it's working. Like the whole flow is out there. You can now stream. You can. Yo, man.
Hey, man.
How you doing with this?
Hi.
I guess this answers my question how it's gonna look when we are 5 instead
Actually,
of 4.
this layout looks amazing. How are you,
this
man?
looks really nice.
Wait a second, I'm just going to put YouTube on pause because right now it's way better. Can you hear me, guys?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm doing good. Happy to be here. It's quite nice. The experience is super nice. It's super simple. I just opened the link and everything was like very well explained and very simple. So I get with COVID and all of this like remote stuff happening at the moment, we're all used to get into a Zoom call or whatever type of call. But yeah, the experience here is very good. And I'm happy to be here. I think I haven't talked with all of you. So yeah, really happy to be here.
Nice
Waiting for your updates on the product. Sorry?
Yeah, nice to have you here as well, man. And just to give a intro, Baptiste, I hope I pronounce your name right. Yeah, he's a co-founder or founder. Co-founder, yeah, you have a
co-founder.
Co-founder of Vidjet, which is an amazing little tool, and not so little anymore, that you can take your video that you record and just embed it into your website really easily and just floats there. And it's amazing because you can, like, for me, we actually worked on a similar project, but as soon as we saw your project, we were like, okay, doesn't make sense. This guy's really good. You can record.
I remember the widget video, and then I saw you guys, and I was like, oh, maybe I'm not a big fan of what they do because we kind of had the same idea. Anyway, well, it was still a very good idea.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I really like it because you can so much more emphasize and connect with the visitors of your website and like explain. For example, we like 5 years ago, we started an e-commerce site here in Czech Republic. It's still running, and I can see, and I just didn't get a team to do it yet. But like every product can has this video that you can really go and explain like what the product is like, and that's like what we do all the time on TikTok. Like you discover so many products on TikTok just through short videos, and this is how you get them on your website, which is amazing. So I really like what you do, man.
Thanks, man. Thanks a lot. And it's going well, but still have a lot of challenges.
Really? Well, actually, I'm interested. What's like, what's for you this year? What you are waiting to do, and like, what's next?
Well, this very famous concept of product market fit. I guess you guys are in the same.
Yeah, unfortunately, we know about it too.
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of challenges. We are going toward the right direction. We've been operating Widget for more than a year now. We've been collecting a lot of feedback, talking with customers, and according to what I saw on your post on LinkedIn, this is also something what you do a lot. So talking with customer, engaging with them, collecting feedback, try to have a very good structure of collecting feedback and really organize them and share them across the company. So we're 6 people now, including me,
Nice.
including myself. So it's still a very small team, like me, like your team, but still the communication needs to be well done. So we create as soon as we, for example, engage a customer interview with one of our customer, we create these very well-designed feedback cards on Figma, and we share them on Slack, and it's a very
Nice.
visual way to get feedback and to prioritize the feature, etc. So yeah,
That's
this is pretty much
actually
what we do.
Cool. I would love to see those cars, man.
Yeah, I can send a few ones. It's
good
very
inspiration.
eye-catching, It's super simple. It's just eye-catching, and then when you go on the Slack files, you can get them all. And if you want to have an overview of all the 10 last customer interviews, you can have like an instant snapshot of them, and it's pretty. It's just like useful to use this card.
Yeah, I like it because I do like a lot of user interviews, and I like the approach of Basecamp and Jason Fried, where he says like, don't write down the points of the interview and don't put it into too much data, because you will actually remember like what is important. It will stick in your mind, and I like it. But I don't also like it's when there is a lot of interviews and a lot of different users, like it's so much that I want some way to actually like, make a data out of it, but not super structured. So I like this kind of visual way and sending it into Slack so everyone can see it, and then like everyone can remember something. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I have one more question for you, because I saw your post some time ago about how likely are you to recommend this product to someone, like how you leverage this questionnaire, which I guess you put at the end of like, or like at some point. I'm actually interested in at what point, and you use it to gather data about, because this is actually, I think this is the closest information you can get, how close you are to product market fit with everything else you get into the business, because the more this number is, the higher this number is, the more you are closer to product market fit.
Yeah, it's we've been spending a lot of time on this NPS like stuff. It's not only about Net Promoter Score; it's about a lot of things regarding customers. But on NPS itself, we did spend a lot of time. And what we do, it's pretty simple at the end of the day. Like we just not copied, but like kind of inspired ourselves from what other SaaS companies were doing, and basically we're able now to really find the aha moment of our customers. We know when our customers go through this aha moment, and they are kind of satisfied with Widget. So we broke down the activation phase into 3 sub phases, like 3 steps. The first one is setup, like you set up with Widget to your website. So basically you copy and paste the script, create a few video campaigns, and that's it. This is the setup phase. Then there is the aha moment. This is usually when our users launch their 2 or 3 first campaigns, and they see Widget live on their website, and they even have some metrics on their dashboard to see if the video is working or not, of course. And then there is the third phase of this whole activation phase, is the habit loop. This is obviously one of the hardest phase to get, because you really want to hook your customers, or they really create a habit loop, and they kind of include your tool in their workflows internally. And so first, we wanted to ask for NPS after our customers will go through their habit loop. But it wasn't a very good thing, because we don't have a majority of our customers going through habit loop. So now we kind of put it a bit before, and we ask for NPS after they're set up and launch their first campaign. So at the aha moment. And we had like a very, very good answer rate. We had I don't remember how many answers at the survey, and we were able to really distinguish what are active customers, what who are not active customer, and also some cohorts of customers. So we have like depending of the industries now, we can see some patterns. Like some active customers belong more to the cosmetic industry, for example, and some less active customer belong more to the I don't know, furniture industry. And since we're working with e-commerce, it's super important to like break down all of these verticals in the industry and establish some patterns with cohorts. So NPS really helped us how to do that, basically.
That's really interesting. And so you also said that you do a follow-up with the people who actually respond to you. How do you do that? Like, what are your questions? What do you go through when you do the follow-up with them, when they answer it? And if it's like an answer that like they are not likely to recommend it, or if it's an answer that they are likely to recommend it?
Yeah, so we use 2 channels to send the first touch point of NPS, and then we use 1 channel to follow up. So the first channel is we just ask by email. Usually, as maybe it's the same for you guys, your emails don't get opened and read a lot by users. So if we don't have an answer after 3 days, we automated something with Intercom to send them like a message on Intercom. So when they connect to widget, there is this Intercom pop-up that is popping up and ask for the survey. And if we still don't have any answer 1 week after the second touch point, we follow up again by calling the customer. So it's pretty manual. It takes a lot of time, but it's still a very good way for us to engage with the customer, to just be human, like to introduce yourself, to tell a bit more about what you build, to ask the customer a few questions, and also make the most of it and ask him or her about the NPS survey.
Nice, really cool info, man. Thanks for joining us.
You're welcome, guys. I will still. I can't stay for very long. I can stay like 5 minutes more, and I'd like to hear you guys updating about the product, everything, because I do follow you a lot on LinkedIn. I love what you build, and it's been quite I don't know, a few days, a few weeks. I haven't really gotten in touch with any of you, and I don't really know what's happening on the product side. So if you can update me, maybe update other people looking at this live right now, that will be absolutely awesome.
Yeah, for sure. We are just on that right now. Yeah, we had a few silent weeks over the Christmas. At least for me, it's time to really like rest and recharge. And I like to turn off all of these, like the need to write something and publish it and everything, like the content, and just recharge. Because I always come to a point where I already start to be so full of the rest and so full of food and drink and you know, like not doing work, that I like really start to look to work again. And that's a good feeling for me. And it's like I know that I did a good rest and I can like work again. So this is now. Last week we already really got into the work, and this week we are pushing really hard. And yeah, we managed to release the full Welder Studio, which is really cool. So right now you can not only stream and record, but you also get the whole recording transcripted. And you can easily take any part of the video and export it with one button. So you can really create clips and highlights out of your live streams, which again helps you with repurposing the content. And we are looking like our roadmap. We worked on our roadmap this week. And the biggest thing we will be focusing on right now is integrating APIs to the platform. Because right now, if you are starting a stream, it's not super convenient. You have to take the URLs from the platforms and the secret key and everything. You are a streaming key and insert it in. And it's a lot of work that is unnecessary, because if you connect to the APIs of the platforms, you can just click button and go live, and you are live. So yeah, that's what we are working on.
Yep, and also as Johan said, like we technically released the live studio, but actually like it's kind of been ready for quite a while, and we released it like this week. But right now on tech side with Mark, we're actually mainly working like behind the scenes a little bit on scaling, because like the number of users is going to be increasing. It's increasing right now, and our first solution for live streaming, it was good for MVP, but it was not really ready for like 10 or 20 or 100 like simultaneous streams, you know. So this is basically what we are doing right now with Mark. We are migrating our infrastructure to DigitalOcean and just making sure that servers are actually up to the task, basically. And this is what we will be doing for quite a while, probably.
Yeah, that's so cool. And when are you planning to finalize it?
Yeah, I think we actually have around 80% ready. like with the migration to the new cloud provider, and I think like the next week we are ready to like fully release the cheaper cloud, you know, the more scalable cloud, and then after that we can move to, as Johan said, like to integrating the APIs and actually like delivering customer value again, basically.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Super interesting. Congrats for that, by the way. And what are the next step then, or the steps for this year regarding the product?
There is actually so much. And we have one big thing in the backlog that we cannot share yet, but we will announce soon. So I'm looking forward to that. But as I said, I cannot share it yet. But there's a lot of it, like, because the streaming space is really huge, and there are so many use cases for streaming, and not only streaming but content creation in general. So we are not only approaching it like, hey, you can stream, but we approach it like streaming means content creation, and the whole process should be more seamless. And with releasing this first version, we can already hear from users or new users or YouTubers reaching to us being like, so I'm reviewing all of these streaming tools, and the viewers are asking, review Welder, like it's really cool, like it does something different than all the others. And they're then coming to us being like, hey, you do really something cool, guys. I want to know more, and I want to review it. So this is a good sign for us. And there is a lot, like there should be more customization. The experience for participants, which you experience right now, should be much more better. You don't even know that we are live, so you should have some more info, better user management. Like there is so much, and if there is the same. And right now we are pre-product market fit as well, we don't prioritize too hard. We just like list all the features. We set the drivers for them. I will be actually talking later in this stream about it. We set drivers for them, which is like the important points for our product. So for example, reliability or ease of use or the content value or stuff like that. And for each feature, we set like how it fills the driver. Then we set an effort, and then we set a certainty score if we are actually, how sure we are that we know these drivers are correct, and the certainty score, the effort score is what we set in. And based on this, we just like put it into these huge blocks like Q1, Q2, and then prioritize based on feedback. So we know roughly what we want to do. We don't know when and in which order, but that will come up because we speak with users.
That's great. And just in terms of, I know you're going to talk about that after, but I'm quite interested in terms of tools. What do you use? Like if you have to mention the 3 main tools you use for planning and product management in general, what are these?
It's actually Product Board. I don't know if you know it. Product Board, it's an actual startup from Czech Republic. Yeah, it's a startup from Czech Republic, and they are really cool. We know the guy who founded it. It's running for like 7 years, and they are really trying to figure out and be the pioneer in like how actually product managers and product building should work to combine like all these information, like the features, the drivers, the scores, who is working on it, but also the user feedback, and like integrate all this together. So I'm actually playing with that right now, and it's pretty cool. It really got up to the point that it's usable and worth using, in my opinion. And that's it. And then I have, like, on our website, you can book a call with me, which is really helpful because I get so many users calling with me, and they just like schedule a call. I set times every day that I'm like open for these calls, and I do really a lot of calls with the users, and I learn the most there. And then
so I will send you the Figma template I use for feedback cards, and so you can design some very nice feedback cards and share them internally.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to that.
Well, that's cool, guys. It's really nice. It's really nice that things are moving on your side. Seems like you've gone through a lot of steps, like of everything on the product side, but also I'm pretty sure on other things. So yeah, congrats for that. I will have to go now. I'm sorry. I will have love to stay, but definitely happy to attend to the next session, or maybe like 2 sessions or 3 sessions. I'll definitely be happy to share a bit more about, I don't know, about our product, about other topics, and just connect with you guys.
Cool.
Awesome.
Thanks for being
Thank
here,
you.
and I wish you the best for this year. Definitely looking forward to follow your journey. And yeah, we are actually thinking about a way to plug guests into our streams. You were the first one, like the pioneer, so we can feel how it actually feels. We'll create a bit more ready structure, and we'll be looking forward to have again.
Cool.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for joining us.
Looking forward. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye, man. All right. So I'm talking a lot, guys. So I will actually ask you a question. What do you think we learned the most when we decided to pivot on the pivot and releasing the whole studio, actually? And Marek, maybe let's just take your microphone, and on the back there is a wheel, and turn it almost like to the silent mode.
You mean gain?
Yeah, gain almost to the silent, like, yeah. No, the other side, I think. I don't know.
This side?
And try the second side. I think it's
This side?
Yeah.
Blue at the haters are now
Yeah, Blue
covering their
Yeah.
ears.
That's what you get for buying Blue Yeti.
It's pretty stupid actually. It just says gain, but it doesn't say like which side.
Yeah, I think like on the side, on your right hand, it's the least.
Yeah, it's like some kind of cipher.
It's better now, no?
Yeah, I think so. You were always like this. Yeah, it's all right. It's all right.
Just
So
don't
the-
move too much and it'll be fine. Stay as
I will just
touch.
mute myself and just.
Okay, so I will repeat the question again. What do you think we learned the most on the pivot and releasing the whole studio, Welder Studio?
That's actually
mean
kind
like-
of hard question to answer.
What's the
Like-
most interesting or like exciting thing or like what we learned
Biggest
the most?
lesson.
Biggest
I would say-
lesson, maybe most exciting thing, whatever comes to your mind, whatever you feel like.
I think for me it was surprising how fast you can actually pivot, like from technical side.
Mhm.
I'm not sure like if it's the best, like the only thing we learned or something like that, but it's just if I had to pick like one interesting thing, it would be that actually I'm maybe quite proud of how what's written that we were able to pivot in like 1 month to basically entirely different streaming solution, you know. So that was pretty cool. But also like, oh yeah, but on the other side, like if I have to turn it around, it's also like visible how much stuff is now technical depth in the code base also. So, and you can really see like why people, even from YC and stuff like that, really don't recommend pivots if you don't have to do them. Obviously, like, you know, you have to do them, so you do them. But you can see the sacrifice quite clearly, like in the code and in the way, like we basically have a lot of stuff left over right now that we have to delete. It's not too much work, but it's still work that we didn't have to do.
It's like you
Before.
build your product, and it's like we need to pivot. Okay, fuck it, we don't do it.
Yeah, exactly. So like it's not really an option to not do it, but at the same time, like you can see like it really does like take its toll on the code base.
For me, it was from listening to you guys, like the past few weeks, and from talking to users and everything, was like how much stuff you actually have to change and think about, and like to communicate it to users so they are not confused and everything. Like it's a huge shift, and you have to think about a lot of stuff, like from technical point of view, from user point of view, and I feel like you keep forgetting about a lot of stuff, and you just have to do it.
Yeah, for
week after because you forgot, and yeah, it's a lot, I think.
Yeah, it's a lot. I think that summarizes it well. It's a lot. For me, it was like, because when you have the idea that, or you start to feel that you need to pivot, and that there is some point that you really need to go and change the product, you feel like that's a really great idea to change it into like that product. But then you start to do it, and you realize, because you are already more likely you are later in the stage, so your idea about the product is more likely to be larger than the previous version of it. And you start working on it, and it's, for example, still broken, and you need to release it. And that happened to us. Like we tried to release it for like 3 times, right? And like at some point, I was like, maybe this was too big of a bite, and we won't be able to deliver it actually. And it's like it's still broken, and this is not working. And to make this actually solve the problem, we need to do this, and this is a huge challenge. And I was like, I was scared a few times. but kudos to you guys, Predrag and Marek. You managed it really well. And it actually worked. But as you said, Predrag, there is a technical depth, but it's a good one. We can test the product now. We can know the feedback, and we can see, as we said before, that people are like, hey, this is some. Like,
Yeah, of course. Like we can actually not die right now, So
yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I would say that's a good thing.
Yeah, for me, even from a support point of view, it's kind of funny. Like before, when people were talking to me, I always knew what they were talking about. Like I always knew it's the local recording studio. Right now, always my first message is, and are you talking about local recording studio or the Welder Studio beta? And it became way more confusing.
It's messed up right now.
Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff to think about, a lot of stuff to fix, and yeah, way more than I thought initially.
Marek is not happy about the pivot. I can feel it. He's not smiling at all.
I think he's
I've actually got the vaccine today.
Oh,
I'm dying.
was it the booster?
Yeah, third dose.
Okay, but tell me your experience with the pivot. How do you feel about it?
I think
Can be
like what was most interesting about this whole pivot thing for me is that like it shows like when you are doing a business, there's like you never really like know what you should do, and you always like do every move with the kind of like, should we pivot or should we not, or should we do it, and then you do it and you have like no clear answer, like was it a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, like I'm pretty happy with the development so far, and I think it was a good decision to pivot. But it's like, yeah, it's interesting. It's like kind of a feeling more than like something exactly.
I knew you will have something nice to say, as always. And it's true, like you hit the right note, because it's an interesting, I don't know, phenomenon, or how to say it, that when you are building a product like this, or like even pivoting or whatever, you are never really sure if what you do is right, but you also have to be super sure, because you have to put all your energy into it. You have to be like super enthusiastic that it will work out and you will build it. It will be amazing, because if you don't do it, you will lose even before you try to do it. But also you have to be open that it's not actually right. You have to be open to that the feedback will come through, and people will be like, maybe this is not the product. And you have to combine all of this. So you are not sure. You have to have as much data as you can that will prove that you are right. And you must be open to this data. So it's quite a challenge to combine all of this.
I think we did the right thing.
Yeah, I think as well. Okay, cool. Next point. This week we did a roadmap, and I enjoyed it. What about you guys? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I think it was a cool process. Like going through all the drivers and stuff. It was kind of painful to like see the end result under each feature. And you were kind of like maybe thinking about adjusting it so it fits the way you want to do it instead of going through the result. But yeah, it was nice. I enjoyed it. Like it was something that we haven't done before. Like I mean, when I was with you.
Yeah. I enjoy it as well, because I mostly work on this alone, or what we do is that we do it kind of organically. We kind of have the roadmap and what we need to do, and the user's feedback, we have it in our minds. But at one point, it is good to put it out there on a paper, list everything, and having everything in front of you, so you can see it and you can share it with others. And for example, you, Alex, can take it, and we are really on the same page. And I enjoy the process of doing it together as a team. I enjoy the creativity workshop part. But I wanted to share the project, the how we do this, how we did it right now with everyone else. And I'm actually curious to see this video, this recording in some time, in like a year or something, and watching it and be like, man, this was such a bad way to do a product roadmap assessment. But what we did is that first thing, we start with listening to the feedback, of course. And as I said to Baptiste, we don't really write down what the feedback is. We remember it. And what this does is that it's like a basic filter to the most important stuff. The problem is that you may be biased to some features that you feel are important, and you tend to prioritize them on your own without too much data. So what I liked about Baptiste's approach is that you get these cards, and they are on the verge of something visual and data-driven. So I think I will be inspired with that. And what we do to make it less biased and more data-driven, we use product board to list all the features. And having them there and setting the drivers, and I will be talking about it in a short time. What we do next in the workshop, the first phase, was actually going through all the competitors, going through the market and just researching all the other tools, what we like about them, what we don't like about them, what feature we miss, what feature we miss but we don't like. And we did it together, so we get a lot of notes, like green and red notes with what we like and what we don't like. And with that, we have like really huge system of features, what we should have and what we would like to have. And then we set the drivers. The drivers for us are reliability, ease of use, quality, epicness, and content value. And like these features are just features that people most likely are telling you on the calls, on user interviews, that are important for them. So we over and over here, like, are you reliable? What's your quality? Or I like that you are really easy to use. So this is something you can set. And it's cool because each feature can have like 1 to 5 magnitude that you fill in. And it's like, I don't know, connecting to API is 5 on the line of ease of use. And then we have effort score, which is what we again do together, mainly with the guys, with Marek and Predrag. And that's actually how much effort does it take to develop this feature. And then we have certainty score, and that's a score how much certain we are that the drivers we set are right and that the effort score is right. Because sometimes we have some feature that we are like, oh, this will have a huge impact. But then we realize maybe this huge impact is just in our minds and we don't really know about, like, our users didn't tell it, like say it to us that it has a huge impact for us, which tells us we need to research that and go out and ask the users like, hey, how do you solve this problem? And they're like, yeah, I do this, and it takes a lot of time. And that maybe our solution makes sense. And based on that, we just like take all of this together, put it into Q1, Q2 when we want to do it, and then prioritize it based on feedback again. And as said, we use product board for all of this. It's pretty neat tool. I recommend you checking it out. I'm actually right now interested, Pred and Marek, like, how do you actually, like, what's your process for guessing the effort score of the features when you, for example, don't know what the feature actually is going to be like, and you don't know the technical details of the feature?
Yeah, honestly, like, there is no good answer to that. I think it's just like feeling and experience, basically. Especially at our state, where you can do it like in a good way, where basically you go over every single feature and you kind of try to predict like everything that has to be done. But what we have done for our current roadmap is just by feeling of. So, for example, if you have to implement comments in all live streaming, you can kind of guess how long should one API take to implement, and then you can like times 7 basically for every platform, something like that. So this is not a perfect approach, because usually you will figure out that, for example, with comments, it's much harder because you didn't discover this one thing. But if you are doing like timelines in terms of Q1 and Q2, it's probably the best way to do it, like until you're a small company. It's just the fastest way to do it. Or maybe not the best, but I would say fastest probably. But of course, in order to do that, you need to be quite, I would say, experienced or senior developer.
Yeah.
Like, the more senior you are, the more accurate is the prediction. And I don't think it's anything that can be really like hacked, like if you just don't have the experience, it will be much, much harder to predict it with the feeling. But you kind of have to predict it with the feeling because you don't really have the time. You cannot really take a week to discuss every single feature and how long it will take to be implemented, basically. So yeah, that's why it's not really like great answer to hear, but
but it
it is
makes
how it
sense.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
when we were setting it in the office, and you guys were brainstorming some of the features because you didn't exactly know the solution. Do you think it could ever happen that you maybe set the effort too high, then you figure out there's some hack to it, and it will be much faster, like really much faster?
Yeah, this is the good scenario, but usually, like the
It
bad
could be the
scenario,
other way around
yeah,
as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Usually, what happens is the
This is
reverse.
exactly the kind of experience Predak talk about. Like, if you have experience, you know this doesn't happen almost never. Like,
yeah, but if
Actually-
it's the live
actually-
streaming space, right? Like you guys are still figuring some stuff out, so maybe it could happen.
Yeah.
Like, in
It
theory.
happens with Predarak, actually. Predarak sometimes, when he's in bad mood, he's like, no, it's not possible, man. It will take like 2 weeks to do this. And then he's like, at that same day, he's writing in me on Slack being like, hey, it's done. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
when
but
that
like,
happens, that's
even
cool.
like you're joking, but like this doesn't happen like that much actually. Like I don't even remember. Like
Yeah,
those things
when you
happen.
do like a serious estimation of a
exactly.
timeline for some like more complicated feature, I don't really remember like ever in my life I have seen it being faster than like the initial.
Yeah, not with you. With you is the other story. Marek is like always, yeah, it's easy. It'll be like over the weekend is done. Like,
Yeah, actually, like I have never seen it like even like in a
Yeah, even in
company.
Twist or everywhere, like because like you can always use the time, even if you finish like earlier. Usually, what developers do is that basically they take that week and do some refactoring or something like that. So basically, you almost never like finish faster if you absolutely don't have to, or like the business is going to collapse if you don't finish something like that. Then yes, that's possible. But usually, like it will usually, almost I would say like 99% of the cases, it's usually after the deadline and not before.
yeah, maybe, yeah. But it's interesting that when we are talking about the features, we don't need to like we can do it pretty quickly because we worked for like together for a long time, so we really understand when we say, because when you mention a feature like user management, like so many people and so many teams wouldn't even be able to guess the effort and how it should like work and what time it should take to do it and all of these things without having wireframes and prototypes and all the features listed and description of what to do. We don't need that because we kind of like all of us in our heads, we kind of see how it's going to look like based on super simple like description. I think that's a really important thing for a speed in a product team. Being on the same page and for you developers being able to imagine the basic design, and for me as a designer being able to imagine your basic code for this feature, your MVP code for this feature. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think this also comes back again to basically experience and feeling.
Yeah.
Like it's the same for developers, it's the same for product teams. Like that, this is what makes you a good product team. But this is like really, like I would say, like a soft skill that is you can read about it, but it's almost impossible to give it to somebody like as teaching or something like that. You just have to do it for a few years, and then you will get better at it, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Ideally in the same team, like that really
exactly.
is strong.
Yeah. Definitely.
Makes sense. Yeah, that is all from the product update. I'm not sure how you are ready, energetic, or good with time to go through the Quora questions this time. Let me know, guys.
We can do
So
one,
answer
maybe.
it one. Maybe we could leave it to another time.
Sure. We have 3 questions, so we can leave them for next stream, or we can do one as we want.
Okay.
I mean, I picked like 3 quite abstract questions, so like up for discussion. It's not like a definite answer, so maybe it will make more sense to leave it.
Maybe we can do the last one because we had a topic in the stream.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The question is, how can I make my startup pivot successful?
It's an actual Quora question.
It's an actual Quora question. What's the answer? Let's just read the Quora answer.
I think when you are pivoting, it's more like you are founding a new business. So like the all the rules would apply again here.
And what are the rules?
There are no rules.
Basically. But
yeah, basically, like get your paying customers somehow, and then you are going to be successful.
The end.
No, I
Yeah.
think Frederick?
no, actually, I was thinking like this is. I'm not sure actually. I think it's good that you picked it, Alex, but like from the perspective of asking, I don't think this is like a good question to ask. Actually, like
Yeah, I
this is-
think it's a stupid question. Actually.
Why do you think? Why do you think?
Yeah,
I-
it depends. Like if it's an open question when you want to have a discussion with someone and maybe talk for an hour or two, then it makes sense. But if it's a question like you want exact answer to, then it doesn't
Yeah,
make
like
sense.
of course.
Yeah, that's why I said it. Like these are all the three questions are quite abstract and up for discussion. There are no definite answers. That's what I said before. So it applies to this question as well.
But in general,
Yeah,
it's a good,
I think it's a
question
good
for
pick
discussion.
to discuss, but
Yeah.
I wanted to discuss this question more in terms of like what you should be actually asking on Quora, because like if you ask too abstract question in Quora, like I don't think like what result can you actually expect to get answered?
Yeah,
like,
but it's full
nobody
of
is
stupid questions, man. So
no, but there's actually but that's true too. That's true too, and that could be also the due to experience. But like I think the only possible answer to this question like that would be brief, fitting for Quora would be something like, as Mark said, you're basically starting a new business, so you just need to start a new business and do everything you would do in the first business, only try to be successful this time.
I think that from my point, it's like it's maybe it's not a bad thing to ask this question on Quora. It should not be like if you are not sure what to do and this is the only source you have, that's bad.
true.
But maybe it can be another data point for you, and you might get something like beware of this, like how to make it successful, and the answer might be, and you don't have to thought about it, be like don't spend too much time on your X target audience, or be ready that your target audience that you have right now will not be super satisfied with the pivot, and you will get a lot of bad feedback because you are really pivoting. And like all of these things, or what Marek said, like you are actually starting a new business, so you should actually again move really fast, get the stuff out there, even if it's almost broken, to get a feedback and then iterate and learn and improve based on that.
I think it's quite important to know the difference between like iteration and a pivot, because these are two very different things. And
check our TikTok. There's an answer.
yeah, when you are pivoting, it's like generally like a new business, you have to make a like relationship with the new kind of customers, get into their heads all over again. And like I think it's much more heavy than just an iteration.
Yeah, it's true. Iteration is like more gradual, and pivot is more radical. It's like a revolution.
Yeah, like when you are iterating, you are just changing your solution. And the solution is not really that much important. It's always about the customer and their problems. When you are pivoting, like you are changing the customer and the problem, and that's huge.
Did we actually pivot, or we just iterated?
We pivoted actually. I think we are targeting different customers.
We pivoted, but we are still like in kind of same problem space. So yeah, it's not like we are making a computer game and then like a communication app for companies. It's not this kind of pivot.
It's still the content creation space, so it overlaps a lot.
That's interesting because it's with everything in business, there are so many like rules, and like videos where people explain something. But in the reality, maybe you are in a position like us when you are actually pivoting, but it's a kind of same problem space. So maybe you are not pivoting that much, and like where to draw the line,
Yeah, there are no hard rules in business.
Yeah.
And Pocket Video School is saying, "Hi, afternoon, guys. Hey,
hello.
Hey.
Yeah, I like to say I have this super smart thing that I like to say right now. I'm not sure even if I understand it correctly. I came up with it I don't know when, probably drunk, I don't know. And it's like these things are principles manifested in contexts. Because there are like no hard rules, as you said, Marek, for these things, but there are many principles that actually works on their own, but they have their own context, and you have the context, and you need to take the principle that is in your context or meaningful for you and manifest it into your context, and then like connect it together. And that's why it's important, I believe, to have so many, or as many as possible data points, data inputs for you. And one of them may be Quora, one of them may be Reddit, your friends, your peers, your co-founders, and then taking the right stuff that makes sense for you and putting it together to feel if and know if you're and make your pivot successful.
Yeah, that's why I think answering this question is not so bad, because we can like answer it from our point of view, and then whoever sees it and has the same issue, he can like apply it to his own context, and maybe it's gonna be really useful for them. So maybe we can like rephrase the question to what are we doing to make our startup pivot successful, instead of like general question.
Yeah,
We can maybe answer it next time, or we can just call it a day and answer the other two next time.
No, I think it's good. I think let's keep this first new year stream short, brief, and packed. I believe you have so many content that can be done and repurposed out of this. I'm looking forward to that. And Alex, you will be finally doing it in Welder. Are you looking forward to it, to repurposing all of this in Welder?
So much, man. It's so much easier.
Cool.
So much easier, man.
All right. So thanks everyone for watching. We will be here again next week. So if you have and doing the same, talking about products, talking about content, live streaming, and sharing our own experience with building products. Like this is just our own view on building products. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Goodbye, my lover.